Hello and welcome to the One Life Church devotional series where we cover the entire Bible in 20 months. Well, today's Psalms are Psalm 41 and 42. And in Psalm 41, David goes immediately to the poor. And he says, "Blessed are those who have regard for the weak," who think about the weak in society, the aged, the children, those who are poor. I'm sitting here in Greenpoint today and I have on my left here people playing tennis at 6:45 in the morning. There's people, I can see them going off to gym. But then behind me are these homeless people who have attached themselves to the country club fence. And the response for the municipality is, you can see a fence put up there. About a week ago, they quickly came and put this fence around them. Like, just stay in your corner. That's where you stay while we get on with our country club activity. I wonder what David would have said about that. Because he said, "Blessed are those who have regard for the weak." There's a blessing, he says, to people who are not totally consumed about themselves, but actually think about weak people. And he says, listen, this is how God blesses those who think about the weak in society, the downtrodden in society. He protects them. He doesn't hand them over to the enemy. He restores them in their bed of illness. He's basically saying God's looking for people who are not just totally consumed with their own world. And then David says this, he says, "Lord, so because I know that you've watched me as I've taken the disenfranchised on my side, and I've taken those who without hope, they've been kicked out by society." Remember, his team was a team of misfits in society. He says, now I really need you. I'm leaning on you, and I know that you'll look after me like I've been looking after these guys. And he says, even my close friend, verse 9 says, who I trusted in and I shared my bread with, has turned from me. Now, amazing how many times David was prophesying and he didn't even know. There was a time when Jesus had some bread and he was sharing his bread with someone. And he actually quotes this verse in John 13:18. Jesus quotes this when Judas is going to betray him. He says, "And he who eats bread with me and lifted up his heel against," he's quoting this very thing. Jesus, like David trusted someone, Jesus trusted Jesus with discipleship. He trusted him with the money. And yet he, like David, was betrayed by the very one that he trusted. And so that psalm is set in the context of betrayal. Yet Jesus came to preach good news to the poor, and David came to look after the poor. And an amazing prophetic psalm. Now, Psalm 42 is written by the sons of Korah. Who were they? Well, there were three basic divisions in the Levitical priesthood, and one of them came from the descendants of Korah. Remember those guys? They grumbled against Moses. The ground opened up and swallowed them in like this earthquake. Now, not all of the sons died. Most of them did. But some of the babies must have lived, because there was a remnant that came out of Korah. And they had some pretty famous descendants. Samuel was one of them. The doorkeepers in the house of Israel were others. Some famous warriors of David came from that lineage. And then these guys who wrote music. They wrote 11 psalms, actually. And this is what they say. That's how the refrain starts. As the deer pants for streams of water. You can imagine they're looking at a buck, desperately looking for water. They say, "My soul pants for you, God." So they're writing it for people to sing, these guys to come into the presence of God. And they're saying, that's how we are hungry. Jesus is the stream of living water. God himself is the one who sustains us. And he says, actually, when we're sick of our soul, when we're malnourished in our soul, that's where our soul is longing to go to God to get sustained. And he says, "Why, my soul, are you so downcast?" He says, like, you're in trouble. He says, this is what you need to do. Put your hope in the Lord, yet I will praise him. He says it again. "Why, my soul, are you so downcast? You're thirsty. You're in trouble. You're in need." He says, this is what you need to do. Put your hope in the Lord and praise him. A fantastic psalm when you're in distress. God bless you.